T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the dancing through the fire. I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
You're listening to the Flourish and Thrive Radio Show, episode 19. Hey there, Kate Hartley here, and welcome to another episode of the Flourish and Thrive Radio Show. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. This is the show where I interview guests whose stories will inspire you to take the steps you need to create the life you want and educate you with tips and strategies to help you overcome your roadblocks. My guests all have one thing in common, and that's the passion to consistently take action, to follow their dreams and achieve their goals in life. On this show, you'll also hear what's working and not working in people's lives, the challenges they face, and more importantly, how they overcome those challenges, using their resourcefulness to get to where they want to be. Before I get into the details of my passionate guest today, remember that you'll be able to listen to the replay of this interview via my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/flourishtherapy.co.uk, and on the Coach on Fire Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Coach on Fire Radio. But back to today's episode. I'm so looking forward to introducing you to my guest. Her name is Janet Tingwald, and Janet helps women get out of their own way, let go of past hurts, and have confidence in knowing that they are making good choices when they date and choose a long-term relationship. She's passionate about transforming lives, giving women the knowledge and the confidence to change their lives and to find love. I'm so looking forward to introducing her. So without further ado, Janet, welcome to the Flourish and Thrive Radio Show. How are you today?
I am well, Kate, and excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. And just to get started, Janet, would you give us an idea of what got you to where you are now and what's your big why in life?
Do you mean in my business or just what got me to here in life in general?
Well, I guess because your business is dating and relationships, probably, the sort of the path, the journey that's brought you to where you are now as a dating and a relationship coach, providing that's not revealing too many gory details. Or actually, no, let's have all the dirt.
Well, I'm pretty much an open book. I would have been called a boy crazy girl when I was younger. That's a term that might have been used. My earliest remembrance is 5th grade of going after a boy, and that's the way I always tended to date. Fast forward, yes, I was married for 23 years, divorced, was single for 5 years until I met the love of my life. And in that process, I also became a coach. I've been coaching for 17 years. So in 2000, I became a coach, got divorced in 2003. And there was a couple of things that happened. But one of the main things was when I met Bruce, my soulmate, the love of my life, I was still doing the corporate coaching, and I noticed that I would hear other conversations with people, and it hurt my heart that they didn't have what I had, and I noticed that I was thinking, oh, if they knew this, or it doesn't have to be this way, or if they changed that. And then one day a little voice said, maybe you could help them, and I thought, well, maybe I could. And so it took some time. But I shifted my focus, and I'm where I belong in helping people. I work more specifically with high-achieving, successful women to have it all. This is one piece that maybe eludes them, and so I help them have it all. So I've taken my 17 years of coaching experience and training and my 59 years of life experience, and
You've got a great package.
Yep. I've done it. I've lived it. I've trained it. I've coached it.
And the great thing is, you're successful in finding the love of your life. How did that happen,
Yeah.
Janet? How did you know he was the one, or did you just get lucky?
No, I don't think, no. No. I was a train wreck in my past when it came to relationships. I heard a business coach one time in a talk she was giving said, make your mess your message. That which has afforded you the most challenges and therefore the most learning, make that your niche, make that where you work. And I said, well, that would be relationships. Yeah. So, all through this time, I'd always been working on relationships. And before Bruce, I was in a relationship with a man for 2 years that I knew for probably a good 9 to 12 months that it wasn't right, but I wasn't ending it. And so when I did end that, I finally really made a commitment to me. Because remember, I've been coaching people about their lives, and there was things I knew about relationships that I wasn't doing. I wasn't honoring my boundaries. I wasn't choosing me. There was just different things I wasn't doing, and I wasn't being authentic, and I was committed to doing that. So one of the steps that I took in between that time is I took some time off to really, it was odd for me because I really wasn't interested in dating for a little while because I was pretty much a relationship hopper. Get thrown off the horse, get right back on. And that's not all bad. You learn a lot that way. But I did take some time, and I was at a wedding with a male friend, and a woman that I knew asked where Bob was, the gentleman that I'd broken up with a couple of months before. And we talked about that, and I said, so if you know of anyone, so I asked for what I wanted. So if you know of anyone, and she said, well, by the way, I do. I do know someone. Now, she had some things going on, and so that was in June. We didn't get introduced till August. But the interesting thing with Bruce, and I know this doesn't happen to everyone, is when she told him about me, he got my number, he called me up, and because of who I was at the time and how I worked, I said, well, he said he was calling to see if I was maybe free in a week or two, and that's not how I worked at the time. So I said, well, if you're not doing anything, some friends and I are going to a concert tonight, you can join us. And it was
just jump straight in there.
Oh, gosh, yes. Well, I've been in sales for 20 years, and, you eat what you kill in sales, and that's how I did. I was pretty, I could be aggressive. And so anyway, I just invited him to come along. I really wasn't attached to any outcome, and it was just a local band and outside, and I knew it'd just be casual and fun. Just join the group. Yeah. And I said, if you're really brave, you can come and pick me up. Now, online dating, I would never do that, but this was somebody that I knew her, the woman that referred me or, told me about, introduced us. I knew her really well and trusted her choices.
Yes.
So I allowed him to come and pick me up. Well, this is what was really different is when the door opened and our eyes met, there was something inside of me that said, oh my gosh, where have you been? I have missed you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a physical, like sexual attraction. It was a recognition. It was a knowing that just took me aback. Because I wanted to throw my arms around him like somebody that you loved and had not seen in years.
Gosh.
It was a weird feeling. And his words later was he felt like he had come home just instantly.
My goodness, you were meant to be, weren't you?
I think so. But here's the thing that I believe is that before I did my work, I could have had a nice guy like that knock on my door and I wouldn't have known it. I wouldn't have known he was a nice guy. I would have screwed it up. And
really, so what makes the difference then? I don't want to stop you in your flow because this is a lovely story, but don't forget, how would you know that he was the one then, rather than if you hadn't done your work? What was it that allowed you to know that he was the missing link, as it were?
Let me put it another way. I believe I had that connection of experience to him because I was that day at that point in my life, I was not attached to any outcome. Mm-hmm. I was in a good place. I was happy. I liked my life. And I was just meeting someone. I wasn't attached to whether he liked me. I wasn't attached to anything. So I believe that I was open, and that was something that allowed the connection, as opposed to things that I had done before might have been like, I was already planning how to close the sale before I even met him. Those things sound so stupid now. Sometimes they're hard to admit, but I do. Wow. I have a PhD in doing it wrong.
So, I mean, that's a lovely story, and I'm so happy for you that you found the one and that he's found you. But for the rest of us, mere mortals, who are either single or not in happy relationships, how do you, if you don't get that sort of gut-stopping initial reaction, and I suppose a lot of people don't, how do you know that person is the right person for you without going down a long relationship and then thinking, oh, it's not going to work out? What signs should we look out for?
Great question, and that actually goes into the rest of the story, Kate.
Good.
Although there was this huge recognition, I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to do the things I knew to do. Mm-hmm. So so in dating him, even though I had that huge recognition, that huge connection, I asked the hard questions. I set boundaries. I dated very differently. I let him take the lead. It doesn't mean I was submissive. I just let him more take the lead. I didn't spend as much time with him. I dated very differently, consciously dated very differently. So that's what I meant by I could have met a nice guy, but before, because of the way I dated, I met lots of nice guys, and I ended up screwing it up somehow. Well, I know a lot of hows. It was always the same thing. Excuse me. So one of the things that happened with that is that it was kind of like looking back, we didn't take the next step forward in our relationship until there was solid footing. Like one example that I give you, that I did not become, we did not become sexual until we were at a place that I needed, probably more than he did, that we were on the same page, that we were willing to be monogamous. We wanted to see where this was going. We were that interested in each other. It wasn't about whether he would or not, whether it was me or not. But asking those questions, I don't want to go into all the details, but sure. I asked the questions. I did the things. And so we created safety as we walked through the dating process. So when we got to commitment phase, it's fun and easy. It's pretty fun and easy.
Yeah.
Because I asked the hard questions up front.
And I suppose also you must be, although they do say opposites attract as well, you obviously have some common ground in order to have built that foundation upon. Is that right?
We do. That's one of the things that you need, actually, is that your interests don't have to be the same. It's nice if they are. We do have common interests, but we share common values, and that's more important. So many people, when they date, they're having so much fun and they're having a good time, and so they base that and their sexual attraction on it being a good relationship, and that's fun dating. That's not a solid relationship. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's almost like crush phase, isn't it? That's not sort of deep, enduring love phase.
Well, we don't ask the hard questions. We don't talk about the things, beforehand. years ago, a few years ago, I don't know if you follow the Kardashians at all over there.
Well, a lot of people do. I